Mr. and Mrs. Smith stars, of course, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Of course, as these loving couple, if you will. So, the two are in therapy, and they talk about how they met and stuff like that. And, of course, Brad Pitt thinks he met, like, 5 years ago, but Angelina Jolie said they met 6 years ago. So, he calls it 5 or 6 years ago. So, we fast forward 5 or 6 years back to where they first meet. And they meet under a difficult circumstance, but it's kind of cool, okay? So, fast forward 5 or 6 years later, John and Jane Smith are now married. They have a beautiful house, no kids, but they have a beautiful house, okay? And they both work for different organizations, and they both go to those prospective organizations. None of them does not know what the other do, okay? They all think they have like other businesses that they run, but they don't know they're both actually spies until their competing organizations decides to tell them that they have to kill both each other, basically. And that's when they both find out that they're spies, and they only have 48 hours to do so, okay? And when the 48 hours lapse, the two competing organizations come together in a joint operation to take them both out. Now, what do I think about Mr. and Mrs. Smith is, it is a damn good movie. The action is awesome. I love all the action in this movie. Very well shot, very well paced and done. The acting in this movie is great by everybody. Brad and Jolie, their chemistry is just awesome. When they look at each other, you're like, yeah, you can tell this is what started that relationship, because they look like they want to get it on right then and there on camera. Which is fun because it actually does anyway, so that was cool. Vince Vaughn and Adam Brody. Now, Vince Vaughn is a guy I was like, you know what? I don't like him in everything, but this one he's actually good. Adam Brody, the only thing I've always seen him funny in was the OC, but Doug Liman actually made him look good in this movie, and it was awesome. He was funny. Speaking of Doug Liman, of course, directed the first Bourne movie. So yes, he's the director of this movie. Perfect choice. Perfect choice. It is just good times, man. And I love the scene when they're shooting the agents in this store or mall. And Jolie are throwing knives at him, and then of course she hits Brad Pitt in the leg with the fucking knife. And he's like, we'll talk about this later. Oh, it is good times. It is very, very good times. Have you ever noticed at the end of that fight in the store that when they're back to back and they're looking around, Jolie is right there, but as soon as they get to a wide shot, it's a completely different woman. Why? Fucking why? Jolie does all her own shit anyway, so why is it a completely different woman sitting there? That makes no sense. But yeah. All in all, though, Mr. and Mrs. Smith is a damn good action comedy, action romantic comedy, as I should say. And I'm gonna give Mr. and Mrs. Smith an A+. Let me know what you guys think about Mr. and Mrs. Smith down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Also, could you tell me if this is a remake of another film called Mr. and Mrs. Smith back in the 1960s, I believe? If it is, let me know, because I want to check that out too. Alrighty then, I'll catch you guys later.